In March of 1983, a commercial flight was cruising at 37,000 feet over the vast Pacific Ocean. The aircraft, a Boeing 727, operated by a reputable airline, was halfway through its route from Honolulu to Los Angeles. Everything was calm. The skies were clear, weather flawless, and the cabin atmosphere tranquil. The captain, Donald Reed, a veteran pilot with over 15,000 hours of flight time, chatted casually with his co-pilot. Flight attendants were serving drinks. Passengers were reading, sleeping, watching the clouds. Then, without warning, the control tower lost communication. ATC repeatedly hailed the aircraft. No response. The co-pilot tapped the intercom. Silence. They attempted to reach Captain Reed. Nothing. A flight attendant approached the cockpit, expecting him to be dealing with some technical issue. But when the door didn't open after repeated knocks, panic set in. The cockpit was forced open, and what they saw was chilling. Captain Reed's seat was empty. No sign of him anywhere in the cockpit. No trace, no evidence, no explanation. Gone, while the aircraft was in midair, traveling over open ocean. The co-pilot took control immediately. A full sweep of the plane was conducted. Bathrooms, cargo hold, galley, every passenger was accounted for, except the captain. Doors were locked, emergency exits intact, no alarms, no one saw anything. A man had vanished from a sealed cockpit inside a pressurized aircraft cruising at 500 miles per hour. When the plane landed, it was swarmed by investigators. Forensics teams, aviation safety officers, military consultants. Every surface was dusted, every screw checked, every camera reviewed. Nothing, no breach, no forced entry, no failure. Captain Donald Reed had vanished into thin air. The airline made a public statement attributing it to pilot disorientation and labeled the investigation as ongoing. But behind closed doors, government agencies began asking questions. Because Reed wasn't just any pilot. He had previously worked on classified missions for the Air Force. And now he was gone. Fast forward 37 years. August 2020. A man walks barefoot across the tarmac of a small privately owned airport in rural Montana. He's wearing a 1980s era pilot uniform. His hair is neatly combed, no shoes, no phone, no luggage. Security is alerted. Local authorities respond. He speaks calmly but seems dazed. When asked who he is, he says, Captain Donald Reed. They think he's joking, until they run his ID. Issued in 1979, FAA certified, expired in 1986. But real. The man is taken into custody. He cooperates fully. His fingerprints are scanned. The system lights up with a red flag. The Department of Defense is notified. And within 12 hours, a black government SUV arrives to escort the man to a federal facility. No charges, no press, no explanation. But internally, one word keeps coming up: impossible. Because the DNA, fingerprints, and dental records all match. It is Donald Reed. And according to all physical indicators, he hasn't aged a single day. Still 42 years old. No signs of malnutrition. No exposure to extreme conditions. No memory loss. When interviewed, Reed gave a simple statement. I was in the cockpit, there was a flash, then I was standing in the sky. He described being surrounded by light, weightless, yet grounded. He said he heard a voice tell him, "You're early, not yet." Darkness. And suddenly, he was walking across the runway in Montana. When asked what year he thought it was, he replied, 1983. Captain Reed underwent a battery of psychological evaluations. He passed every test. EEGs showed stable brain activity. No signs of trauma, schizophrenia, or dissociation. His vocabulary, memory recall, and personality traits were perfectly intact. But the most unsettling detail came from the time on his wristwatch. It was still ticking, and frozen at the exact second of the flash in 1983. Lab tests confirmed the watch had not been exposed to radiation, moisture, or extreme environments. It simply paused. Experts from NASA, DARPA, and MIT were brought in to analyze the data. Some believed it was a case of time dilation, a phenomenon theoretically possible under extreme gravitational forces. Others speculated about dimensional rifts, alternate timelines, or artificial manipulation of space-time. Then came the surveillance footage. The private airport had a single exterior security camera. At exactly 3:17 a.m., a flicker appeared on the edge of the runway. Frame by frame, the image revealed a human figure slowly materializing from the mist. 1 second he wasn't there. The next, he was. No vehicle, no parachute, no heat signature before arrival. Just a man, calm, confused, and very real. The government sealed the footage immediately. But someone on the inside leaked 3 still images. They went viral within hours. And suddenly, the world was paying attention. Online forums erupted with theories. Some claimed it was a government cover-up of teleportation experiments. Others believed Reed had been abducted by non-human intelligence. But a smaller group, composed of retired pilots and ex-military technicians, focused on one overlooked detail. The exact location of Reed's reappearance matched a former Air Force research site. Decommissioned in 1978, off-limits since. The site had been home to Project Tracer, a program rumored to involve high-altitude time-space experiments. Though never confirmed, its existence had been mentioned in a 1982 Senate hearing. What if Captain Reed had been pulled into one of these fields? Accidentally. And returned decades later, not by his own will, but because the window had reopened. An anonymous source claiming to be an FAA radar technician reported that on the night Reed reappeared, an unexplained blip appeared over the Pacific for exactly 2.8 seconds, then disappeared. At the same moment, in Montana, Reed emerged. 2 points, 1 disappearance, 1 arrival. Exactly 37 years apart, but linked. The Reed incident has since been buried again. Searches yield articles labeled as urban legend. Videos are quietly demonetized or removed. But some records persist. A Freedom of Information Act request in 2022 uncovered a memo from a high-ranking Pentagon official. Subject appears stable. No cellular degradation. Possibility of exposure to space-time irregularity cannot be ruled out. To this day, Captain Reed has not made another public appearance. Some say he lives in an undisclosed location in Alaska. Others think he's been relocated to a secure observation facility. And a few believe he was taken back to wherever he was for 37 years. Was it a scientific anomaly? A military experiment gone wrong? Or something far beyond human comprehension? Whatever the truth is, one fact remains. Captain Reed's return defies all logic and forces us to ask the question, how much do we really know about the skies? And if time can open it open again? Subscribe to SKYPLUS, because the next flight may reveal the truth. Stay curious and keep looking up.